There's a specific kind of magic that happens first thing in the morning when you line up with a group of friends, kickstands up, and you point the front wheel towards the horizon. The sun's barely awake, the engines are rumbling, coffee is still settling in, and for a few brief moments before the ride begins, everybody's carrying the weight of the regular life on their shoulders. Then the throttle rolls on, and somehow all of it fades away. Hey, I'm the Tombstone Rider, and today we're rolling out of Sierra Vista, Arizona, leaving Cochise County behind for a bit and heading north towards one of the most unforgettable motorcycle roads in the Southwest, the climb to the top of Mount Lemmon. This isn't just a ride to a mountain. It's a ride through climates, ecosystems, memories, and perspective. And if you've never done this run before, you're in for a treat. We're going to trade desert cactus for towering pines, climbing from the Sonoran Desert floor into the cool alpine air over 9,000 feet above sea level. Somewhere along the way today, I found myself thinking about how differently I experience rides now compared to when I first started riding over 40 years ago. Back then, I rode to escape responsibility. Now, I ride to reconnect with life. Hey, drop a comment below and let me know what your favorite escape ride is. I always enjoy hearing where the road takes everybody else. Alright, let's get some miles behind us. One of my favorite parts of any group ride is the first few miles. Everybody's settling into their rhythm. You can almost feel each rider mentally shifting gears from everyday life into ride mode. There's a bond riders understand that's hard to explain to non-riders. You don't need constant conversation. You don't even need a destination sometimes. Just the road, the machine beneath you, and people beside you who understand exactly why you ride. That's enough. And after riding for more than 4 decades, I've realized something important. The older you get, the less riding becomes about impressing other people, and the more it becomes about feeling your soul. When you're younger, you think riding is about speed. You think it's about power, about loud pipes, and about proving you're fearless. You attack corners, you chase adrenaline, and you ride like you're trying to outrun time itself. But eventually, life humbles you a little. You lose people, you go through hardships, you gain responsibilities, and you realize how fragile life really is. And the motorcycle changes with you. Now I appreciate things I never noticed when I was younger. The smell of the rain in the desert, the sudden cool air crossing a canyon, the way the sunlight hits the mountains early in the morning, the sound of tires humming through a perfectly carved turn. These days I'm not trying to ride faster than everybody else. I'm just trying to absorb every mile. As we make our way up the Catalina Highway, you can already see the landscape starting to change. And this road, wow. Mount Lemmon Scenic Byway is one of the engineering masterpieces of Arizona. 27 miles of sweeping corners, elevation changes, dramatic overlooks, and scenery that honestly feels more like Colorado than southern Arizona. Construction on this highway began back in the 1930s, and it took decades to fully complete because of the rugged terrain. And here's something a lot of people don't know. Mount Lemmon itself was named after a botanist, Sarah Plummer Lemmon, one of the first women to explore this region back in the 1880s. At the time when very few women were traveling through remote wilderness areas, she helped document plant life throughout the Southwest. That alone makes this mountain feel a little more legendary. Now here's where things get really fascinating. Scientists call this entire mountain range a sky island. Basically, it's an isolated mountain ecosystem surrounded by a completely different desert terrain. And as we climb from roughly 2,800 feet at the base to over 9,100 feet at the summit, we're passing through 6 different ecological zones. In terms of climate change, it's almost like riding from Mexico to Canada in less than an hour. That's wild when you really think about it. Down below, saguaro cactuses, dry heat, and dust and rocks. Up on top, towering pine forests, cool mountain air, and sometimes snow. And every 1,000 feet we climb, the temperature drops another few degrees. So while we started this ride in a desert warmth, by the time we reach the summit, we'll be nearly 30 degrees cooler. The rock formations on the way up are also amazing. Massive granite boulders stacked like giants were playing with building blocks out here. Some of these rock formations are over 1 billion years old. 1 billion! That kind of perspective has a way of making your daily stress seem pretty small. And honestly, that's another thing riding has taught me over the years. Perspective. When you're younger, every inconvenience feels huge. Traffic, work problems, money problems, deadlines. But after enough years and enough miles and enough sunrises seen from a motorcycle seat, you realize peace is usually found in simpler things. A good road, a healthy body, a few close friends, and enough fuel to keep moving forward. That's a rich life. Thinking back to when I started riding over 40 years ago, man, the world was completely different. No cell phones, no GPS, no social media, no non-stop notifications following you everywhere. If you broke down, you figured it out. If you got lost, you unfolded a paper map at a gas station and hoped for the best. And honestly, there was something beautiful about not being reachable all the time. Today, the world feels louder than ever. Everybody's connected, but somehow disconnected at the same time. That's one of the reasons motorcycles still matter so much to me. When the helmet goes on, the world gets quiet again. You aren't doom scrolling through bad news. You aren't answering emails. You aren't worrying about the next meeting. You're fully present. The road demands it. And maybe that's why riding feels therapeutic to so many of us. Because for a little while, your mind finally stops racing. You know, another thing that changes as you get older is the way you measure successful rides. When I was younger, success meant how many miles you covered, how fast you got there, and how aggressive the ride was. Now, a successful ride is everybody making it home safely. Sharing laughs at fuel stops, standing around in parking lots telling stories, watching newer riders gain confidence, taking in views that you know you'll never fully capture on camera. That's the good stuff. That's the part nobody tells you about when you first start riding. Motorcycles aren't really about machines, they're about moments. As we get higher into the mountain, the air changes again. You smell the pine trees now. And if you've spent most of your morning in the desert heat, that cool mountain breeze feels incredible. It still amazes me every single time I make this ride. An hour ago, we were surrounded by cactus and dry desert terrain. Now, feels like we've crossed into another state entirely. That's what makes Arizona such a special place to ride. When you finally reach the top of Mount Lemmon, sitting over 9,000 feet above sea level, it almost doesn't feel real. You're standing in a thick alpine forest beside the southernmost ski area in the continental US. And somewhere, way down below, the desert stretches out towards Tucson like another world entirely. Moments like this make you stop and reflect a little. Riding changes you, and riding for a lifetime changes the way you look at aging too. I don't feel old, not even close. I feel experienced. I feel grateful. I feel lucky that after all these years, I still get excited to throw a leg over a motorcycle. Because the truth is, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. That's why every ride matters. Every sunrise ride, every road trip, every gas station conversation, every mountain road. At some point, you stop counting motorcycles and you start counting memories. If you've enjoyed riding along with us up Mount Lemmon today, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with somebody you'd like to take this ride with someday. And if you've been putting off your own escape ride because life's been too busy, consider this your reminder. The work will still be there tomorrow, but the riding season, well, that keeps moving. Keep the shiny side up, the rubber side down. And don't forget to slow down long enough to truly absorb the ride. We'll see you on the next one.